This episode of Inside Golf Podcast is brought to you by Inside Sports Network.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Boston Capital Twitter, Steve, on the Hold the Green podcast.
All right, we are live. Tap in, birdie.
All right, Carson Young is here.
I bet Ludwig at 28.
Let's go. I bet
You
him
did
at,
too?
I bet him at 25.
Low sevens. I think there's some guys in here we like.
Harris English at 7,300.
Why the fuck would I not bet Rory?
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Hold the Green podcast. We're going to do a Valero preview, Houston recap. It's your boy Capper with Twitterless Steve. Steve, great day for us today. No sweat, never a doubt.
Yeah. It was always going to be easy with Minwoo Lee. Trying to hold on to a 4-shot lead overnight and having a 4-shot lead for most of the day. Yeah, just really cruise into that outright win today. Smooth sailing, no stress at all. No threats to our producer over our text message chain because he finally revealed that he had Scotty Scheffler. He was the big heel of us all. But no, that got another outright win for both of us. That is, I think, the second time this year that you and I have both been on the winner.
Joint winners.
So, third one for me overall for the year. We're doing pretty good. That was a satisfying win. Big community win, though. Definitely not
huge
easy.
Community win. No.
Huge community win. What was he on the tip chart? Was he like second, I think, for the week?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but I mean, it just made all the sense in the world. We talked about it on the show. I thought other than his one disaster round on Saturday, he played very well at the Players. He hit his irons really good. Yep. And I thought it was just time to go back to him on a golf course that didn't really penalize you for missed fairways. So, congrats to us. Congrats to everybody. Talk about your day sweating the Minwoo Lee outright. How'd that go for you?
I thought I was going to break my fucking TV when he was kneeling down and contemplating hitting that shot out of the bushes instead of taking a drop. I was like, that's it. I was like, our money's lit on fire. Like, this idiot's going to turn this into a fucking 8. So cooler heads prevailed. I guess he listened to his caddy. His caddy said, hey, when was the last time you've hit a shot like that? And he's like, good point. So, he was able to get up and down for a bogey there. That's fine. Yeah, man. I mean, Gary charging at the end was nice to see, but I didn't really want to see him win today, but it's nice to see Gary back. Yeah, I mean, look, I was playing board games with the kids, had it on low volume. I was expecting pain, so I wasn't like hyped up watching it and ready for it. I was just waiting for the collapse, really. It's kind of just sitting around waiting for doom. Listen, I'm super happy with it. Broke even on DraftKings somehow, which is nice. Good week fucking overall, man. Good week overall. Hit Mac Hughes, pretty hefty top 20, so that was nice too.
Very nice. You know who his caddy is now, right?
Mm-mm.
It's Shane Lowry's old caddy.
Oh, is that who that is? I thought I recognized him.
Yeah, that was a nice little quip he had too. Like that's very good caddying to say something not direct to a player, kind of a little passive aggressive to kind of steer him in the right direction to make it seem like it's the player's idea at that point in order to choose the correct shot. So that was actually a very good way that he was able to steer his boy into not hitting what was assuredly going to be a disaster shot.
Disaster. I was like, is he really considering this? And it was like one of those things where like I stopped doing the board game and like turned towards the TV. I was like, Daddy, it's your turn. I was like, give Daddy a second. I gotta wait to see if this idiot's gonna do this. And they all watched me and just wait. Like, okay, all right, Daddy's calm. It's okay.
Well, that's the Minwoo Lee we expect. Just the knucklehead that we love him because he can go on these big birdie streaks and he's a great putter. But then he'll just throw the double or triple out of nowhere. And that was definitely setting up like that on that hole. He actually ended up saving par on that hole, by the way. So that was huge. He got par there. Right. And then he bounced back with a birdie on number 9 there. He knocked it stiff, converted the putt.
Yep.
And then he started actually going on a little bit of a birdie run at that point where he was up 4 with 4 to go. And the thought crossed my mind of maybe this will be kind of easy. And literally, as soon as I thought that, then Scotty
It's
started
bogey.
doing the thing of what he did to help me at Le Golf National last year of just fantasing everybody and winning.
Yeah.
He starts making a charge. Lee misses a putt on 15 and then just slices it off the planet.
Oh my god.
On
Off the
16.
it wasn't even close. The announcers were like, "Did it cross?" I was like, "No, it didn't fucking cross." Are you watching the same broadcast I am? I was like, "I didn't cross any piece of land. It didn't even come close." You fucking liars! Like if I was on the radio, if normally if I was on a Sunday, if I was driving somewhere and I had that on the radio, those radio guys would be like, "Oh, I don't know if it crossed or not," and they keep me in suspense for like fucking 5 minutes. Meanwhile, knowing that there was no shot, he's 100% retaining it.
Yeah. No, we've all hit that shot that starts right off the tee box and then just keeps going more right and more right. And yeah, there's no chance it ever cross land up where it did. I actually thought he hit the second one in the water too. It looked like that was also going in the dragon. Then I would have probably smashed my TV at that point.
It wouldn't have been great.
And then I'd have to explain that to my kids after that. But no, he held on. I was definitely not thrilled throughout the day whenever they kept saying that his palms were sweaty and he had to change gloves. I'm like, it's kind of humid there. It's a little hot, but it's not that bad. And like he was literally
nerves, baby. It was nerves.
He was literally changing gloves like every hole. I'm like, that's not.
I saw the caddy looking at him, like holding up too, and was like, look. I was like, why is he looking at his fucking gloves? It's one of those times where like I flicked up the volume and I was like, oh, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Yep.
No.
But hey, ended up working out aces for us. Another winner. Congrats to us there. What are some other takeaways from Valero? I think probably what most people want to start looking at, because we got the Masters in less than 2 weeks, of the players that we saw here that we would be considering to win the green jacket in 2 weeks. So why don't we talk first about Scotty and your extended thoughts on him and what he did this week. Do you come from this week more encouraged that he can win back-to-back at Augusta this year? Or were there still some things that you noticed with his game that maybe are still a little loose that you still gives you pause that he can win again this year at Augusta?
I mean, he looked sharp today, right? Like, obviously coming down that back nine stretch, he shot a 62 on Friday. He's there. It's clicking. When he putts, it's over. Like, it's scary. It really is. And I mean, yeah, this is not what I wanted to see as somebody who's not going to bet Scotty at 4-1. Like, I didn't need to see him chipping and getting up and down from fucking everywhere and draining putts. And yeah, I mean, it's discouraging for somebody who doesn't want to bet Scotty. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I don't know. But like we said, right, with all the responsibilities of the jacket winner from the year before, it is very hard to go back to back, which is nice. I'll try to hang my hat on that because his play tells me that he can absolutely go out there and fucking win in 2 weeks.
Yep. Yeah, I have no concern about the iron game with Scotty. That is still just as good as last year. Like, it still terrifies me, when I see him in the fairway, knowing he's going to hit this to like at least at worst 15 feet to give himself. And that's what he did over and over. And, today at least, the short game still looks pretty good. He hit a pretty poor iron shot in 18, which that was surprise.
That was bad. But then he chipped it to fucking 6 inches.
But that's what Scotty does. That's why it's so frustrating if you have an outright going up against Scotty, because Scotty's just going to get up and down. He's not going to drop shots. He's the same here. Obviously still concerns about the putter, but that's not unusual. The driver still, they still talked about him on the broadcast, still missing left, still pulling the ball, which was not a thing last year. It seemed like just whenever he wanted to, he could just work the ball left to right off the tee. Yeah. Automatic. And one of these things with these guys, he changed drivers this year because, he has to play the new tailor-made driver that's released. And they customize it to make it basically the exact specs as the old one, but there's still subtle differences, year to year, that maybe he's having a little trouble with this new version that he's hitting. Yeah. And that still was kind of a problem, like he was still yanking the ball off the tee a little bit. There's definitely some holes at Augusta where, you definitely can't hit it left. A lot of scoreable ones, like for example, number that could be a problem on number 2, the par 5. If you yank it left into the woods, you have a terrible angle. You can't get to the green basically in 2. You got to kind of punch it down the hill. On number 8, if you hit it left, you have no angles to the green. It's a really bad place to miss on number 8 there. So, yeah, I mean, he's got 2 weeks to fix that driver. Have more confidence that he can just hit that big steady fade left to right. And if he gets that back, then yeah, I mean, obviously he's a threat to win the Masters, probably at worst like T9 or something. But that's still a problem he's got to fix. But yeah, like a lot of it. But overall, though, the old Scotty that we were afraid of last year showed up the last 6 holes, and where I was starting to get terrified that you and I would come on the show and just wish horrible things upon Minwoo and Scotty at that point. So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the other guy. Rory got to a slow start, roared back today, no pun intended. Said after the round he's having some elbow issues. I don't know if you caught that.
I just caught it in the Discord. I didn't hear him say it. I heard him talking to her, and he said basically this week, or she said like this week was about you trying to fill up your confidence bucket. How'd that go for you? And he said it went well. I don't know. I'm not doing the injury thing. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. Like there's so many times that we think there's something wrong and there's nothing wrong. So like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing with Wyndham Clark this week, who played very well. And
great over the weekend.
Yeah. Played great over the weekend. Had that neck injury, played fine, at least this weekend. So yeah, it's always dicey to kind of wonder where these guys are at with their injuries, because we just, unless they tell us, we don't really know. Yeah, I come away from this week from Rory still feeling good about his game. It definitely got to a slow start for him, but seemed like maybe it was a little more of a business trip this this tournament, just trying some things out. And then over the weekend, he started to put the pedal, to the metal at that point and rose up the leaderboard. And, and he had a great day today. So, maybe, him kind of, get off to a slow start. Maybe might take a little bit of the heat off him. The fact that he's going to, take a week off between this week and the Masters. Maybe that'll be good. I think he usually plays, the last couple of years he played Valero, played the week before. So this is new for him. So we'll see. I mean, obviously this is his white whale. This is his, the one he, it's missing from the resume. So we'll see what happens.
What do you think about Wyndham?
I mean, it looked pretty good. Yeah. I mean, like I thought, I tried, guys like Minwoo Lee on my betting card, Wyndham Clark, same thing.
Yeah.
And, he had shown enough flashes during this year to warrant, I think, put him on the betting card. And he definitely got off to a slow start, but as conditions definitely improved over the weekend, he started hitting his irons a lot better. He's a great putter. He got in the mix and he looked pretty good. So
what do you think about his chances for Augusta?
I don't know. I mean, he's never really played all that good there, right?
No, so I can't remember off the top of my head.
No, he's never really contended there all that much.
No,
and
but I don't know. He's somebody who, depending on what the number is, I might be interested. Just because he's trending in the right direction. I like to play him at places where Rory plays well as well. And so I don't know, maybe get a discount.
We'll see. Any thoughts on Toasty and his antics today?
No, he's fucking funny though. He cracks me up. Like,
of course he's your boy. Of course he is.
yeah. So, wasn't this the tournament I found him last year?
It was, yeah. He got into it with Tony Finau last year because he didn't like something about they were going back and forth about who was away on the greens, and Toasty took it personally. And then, well, I mean, you had the sound down, so you probably missed what happened on today, the big controversy.
I caught up on it, and now I understand it a little more. But that's hilarious.
I mean, he's a big baby. Let's put it that way. Like he didn't like how Minwoo Lee was taking a long time, and then he decided to just play slowly.
Yeah,
like clown.
Pretty funny.
Drop kicked his club. Like it reminds me of this, like the way he self combusts on a golf course like that. Like Mike Matusow, the poker player,
Yeah,
who
yeah,
just
of
is his
course.
own worst enemy at the poker table, just blows
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
I mean, his antics today reminded me of that. Like a guy who, I mean, probably doesn't have the street cred in order to act this way.
No,
but he does anyways. I mean, it's also very reminiscent too of like early Sergio as well. With his antics on the golf course too. He was a total clown today. But,
yeah, it was funny, but whatever. Like it was fucking 30 minutes on that goddamn hole with the bush. Like, I mean, that's excessive, man. Like 30 fucking minutes. Like that's very excessive.
It was. They were also waiting for people. I mean, I noticed like pace of play was pretty slow. I mean, unless ShotLink was very slow to update. Like I was sweating on Maverick McNeely round score today.
Yeah.
And he spent like the time between like shots was literally like 15 minutes. Sometimes on some of these par fives. So I think just pace of play just overall was pretty slow. But yeah, obviously Minwoo going back and forth about whether you want to hit it from under the bush or not. Yeah, that added a lot of time to the hole there. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got from Houston. Anything else before we jump into Valero?
Yeah, no, I would just say everybody's looking forward to Masters Week, and we are running the promo. It's probably going to be the only promo we run this year. It's 25% off monthly or yearly, just depends on which code you want to use. And it's Masters Month or Masters Year. So 25% off. It's a great deal. Everybody who comes in the Discord absolutely loves it. I mean, this is some of the sharpest DFS people in there, some of the sharpest betting people in there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say, man. It's a great place to be, great company. If you're not in there, you really are missing out. The Thursday meltdown sweats alone are worth the price of admission. And look, if you can get somebody like me back into DFS and cashing, like you guys could do it too. So come on, man, come fucking join it. Masters Month or Masters Year. Take some of the winnings from Minwoo and let's do the yearly subscription, man. Let's keep it going.
Yep. Yeah, the Discord is definitely a great perk about being an insider at Inside Sports Network. Obviously you're sweating all your bets and DFS lineups with a very good collection of smart, sharp golf minds who also are pretty funny too, have some good one-liners as well. But there's a lot of great information floating around about course conditions. UT Stick's been a great addition with all his insights so far to ISM with his thoughts about the golf course. I got thoughts from myself and Andy and Kyle and Rishi and, just all our staff here, giving our expertise about what we think are the best plays of the week, what we think the golf course is going to play like. You get all that, and you have a lot of great minds, of just regular followers and golf bettors in general too, who are very sharp as well. So definitely a big perk to become an insider. Take advantage of the promo codes. You won't regret it.
Yep. All right. So let's move on to Valero.
Okay.
Last year, Denny got wet in the playoff and we cashed the Akshay ticket.
We did. It was actually, I got off to a very slow start to the outright year last year. That was actually my first outright of the year at that point. So that was actually a nice little relief to get that win. But yes, this is the Valero Texas Open 2025 preview at TPC San Antonio. So there are actually two golf courses at TPC San Antonio. There is the Canyons course, which is at the north end of the property. That's actually a Pete Dye design. I think back in like the mid 2000s, they had a Champions Tour event there. I think they had a Corn Ferry event there for a couple of years too. I remember a couple of years ago, I forgot who it was, but someone was touting this one guy who had done very well at a Corn Ferry event at TPC San Antonio. Like, oh yeah, he should be a great fit here. Why? I think it was because that was the Canyons course where he did well. He actually had never played the Oaks course.
Yeah.
So always fact check that. But we are at the Oaks course, which was built in 2010 by Greg Norman with consultation from Sergio Garcia. This is another.
Oh, that's this course. That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah. This is the one you thought Sergio was involved with last week. No, this is another. This is another player consultation golf course here. So Sergio helped design this place. Now there's a little bit of a checkered history with Sergio and Greg Norman, which is strange. And now I guess Sergio was always going to take the money and go to live, but apparently now he's okay with Greg Norman. So Sergio actually, I think, was engaged to Greg Norman's daughter.
Yeah.
And then it ended in horrible fashion. So for a while, Sergio would actually never really come play this event, I think because of the Greg Norman ties.
Yeah.
But this is a Greg Norman design from 2010, and this has hosted the Valero Texas Open every year for the last 15 years here. So before we get to the golf course, though, so it's not just the golf course that's pretty impressive. What also gets these guys to this golf course every single year, besides the fact that it's usually the week before the Masters, has a very good resort on site here. This is the JW Marriott at TPC San Antonio. You see it's got a very nice pool area. It's got some water slides, great for the kids here too.
Yep.
So, this is definitely a good golf course to have great accommodations for these guys. Instead of having to rent an Airbnb, they can just stay on property here and, have a good time. But as far as the golf course stuff, and again, like if you missed last week, this is more of a modified preview. We're going to make it more abbreviated. We're going to let Andy handle more of the nitty gritty of this golf course, but I still want to show you some important elements of it. So I think for me, the most important characteristics of TPC San Antonio is, at least from a topography standpoint, is the elevation and the wind direction at this place and how the golf course is designed. So this golf course is on a hill. So the northern end of the property, where the clubhouse is, about 1,100 feet in elevation. It basically works. Most holes work north to south or south to north or downhill or uphill. And it's about 100-foot elevation drop from the north end of the course to the very end of the course here. So, and this is by design because the prevailing wind here is usually out of the south. So you have a lot of these holes where they kind of have counteracting variables to it. So this is the par 5 second, and then you got the par 5 eighth. So this is working its way downhill here, about 30 feet in total elevation. So it's downhill, but you have the prevailing south wind, kind of like a counteracting variable at this point. It's downhill, so it's going to help you on the tee shot, but the approach shot's into the wind to hurt you there. So that's how it kind of cancels each other out. And then on the 8th hole, it's uphill, but you usually have the wind to your back here. So you have a lot of holes like that where you might have maybe a longer hole going downhill, but it has a little bit of a south wind to it to kind of hurt you. Or you have maybe a shorter hill that's a little uphill, but you have a little bit of a tailwind to help you there too. So the golf course is designed to kind of help you in those certain aspects there too. The bunkers, though, I think this is probably one of the most challenging parts of this golf course. It's got very tricky greenside bunkers and fairway bunkers. So this is an example of it right here. So this is the 11th hole, kind of an odd tee shot where you're hitting kind of awkward. It's a split fairway. You got a center line bunker right here. The left side of the fairway is a little higher than the right side here. So, depending on where the pin position is, you might want to work your way, hit down the right side or keep it up on the top shelf up here. But these bunkers, though, they're pretty long. They're pretty big. Greg Norman wanted to try and make these bunkers resemble more like what you see from like the Sandbelt golf courses in Australia, big, expansive with big, steep faces to them, puzzle shape as well to kind of make it a little more challenging for these guys. So, you can see here, if you're in one of the crevices of the bunker here, it definitely can make it very inconvenient to hit your approach shots out of. If you're up against the lip here, definitely can cause a lot of problems. And then these greenside bunkers here too. You see these steep faces right here, flat bottoms. So depending on where you are, it could be a big carry back up to the green here. And they're very set well below the putting surface too. So every single year, this is actually one of the more challenging places to get up and down from the bunkers. And this is why it's very challenging bunkers here. Here's another example on the 13th hole. This is a par 3. It's about 230 yards. Very difficult approach shot. You got to hit it over this front bunker here. Again, it's a very deep bunker, well below the putting surface if you're here. Also, you got a very large bunker over to the left here. if you're in this area right here, again, that's a very difficult up and down. You got to carry it a long ways back to the putting surface, or if you're up against the lip here, I get up pretty quick. So these are very challenging. A couple of years ago, they did some renovation work to the bunkers. And actually, I just shared a video on Discord. I had a member at TPC San Antonio actually share with me the master bunker renovation plans a couple of years ago. And they did a couple of things. One, I think you kind of see this here. They had some sand buildup just from years of just, sand splashing out of the bunkers. They ended up softening these, slopes around the green here and softening the edges of the bunkers as well. They also put new sand in. So the sand that they were using, it wouldn't compact very well. It would lead to a lot of plug lies. They ended up bringing in some Arkansas sand. Had the particles of that sand was a little more angular. So it compacted a little better. They said the consistency is more like sugar when it kind of splashes out. So if it gets wet, it's still very playable. Unlike the other bunker sand that they used to have, when it got wet, it got very kind of mushy and, hard to play out of. This bunker sand's a lot more, a little more player friendly. It's also white and vibrant, so it kind of pops as well. So it didn't change at all the ease of playing out of these bunkers. It's still very difficult, I think, just because of the shape of it. But that's one thing to notice too. They did do some bunker work a little bit a couple years ago. So also from this tournament, you might remember Kevin Na's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad 9th hole. Do you remember any of this?
Yeah, he shot like an 18 or something stupid.
Yeah, he shot a 16 here.
16, yeah, something fucking stupid.
So, we'll get to the strokes gain table in a little bit, but this is one of the more challenging places to hit tee shots from. And, the fairways aren't all that wide here. You have some pretty challenging fairway bunkers you got to navigate around that, create some difficulty. But there's also some very bad areas where if you are offline, you can end up being in some really, difficult areas to find yourself in to pile up the strokes in a hurry. And this is an example here in 2011. So I tried looking for the shot link data for Kevin Na's 9th hole here, just to show you just the complete cluster that this turned into.
Yeah.
So instead, being the hardworking co-host of Hold the Green that I am, I ended up creating it for you guys. So we'll walk you through exactly what happened to Kevin Na's 9th hole right here. So his first ball, he sailed it way out of bounds. He ends up walking in the bramble over here. It's unplayable, goes back to the tee here. Well, he hits the same tee shot again. Club goes flying down, drops it there, goes sailing into the bramble once again. Hits provisional, hits a rope hook into this junk over here too. But they find the ball. They find it. And this is where all the fun starts happening with Kevin Na. So here's his 4th shot that he attempted right here. Ends up hitting a tree in front of him and then bounces, I think, just somewhere unplayable. It hits him as well. So that's a penalty stroke 5. He takes an unplayable 6. So this is 6 that he drops here. Hits it again, hits a tree, bounces like back way farther in the woods at that point. And he actually says to his caddy, well, I can't go back to the tee at this point. I think he just is embarrassed at this point.
Right.
Like, I just have to get this out. I don't want to go all the way back and do this all over again.
Yeah.
So he hits a 7th to here, goes back. He whiffs on his 8th. He advances the ball about maybe 5 feet on his 9th. Advances it a little farther on his 10th. Basically whiffs again on his 11th and finally gets out on 12. Where at that point he ends up hitting, I think, to the green, 2 putts for 14. But I think what ended up happening was he carded 16 officially. I think they added another penalty somewhere in here. So this is basically what happened. This is my best attempt to recreate the shot link data of Kevin Na's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad 9th hole here. And I'm sure this warms your heart.
It does. I hate Kevin Na.
Yeah. Could not have happened to a better guy here.
Exactly.
Now it's got a pretty interesting closing stretch, TPC San Antonio. So this is the 16th hole. This is a par 3. So Greg Norman, loves Riviera. And this is actually his take on the 6th hole at Riviera. Remember the 6th hole at Riviera has the bunker right in the middle of the green here. And you have, it ends up creating some very interesting pin positions, here because, it's a bigger green, but you got to navigate around this middle bunker right here. So this is basically his take on that. 17th hole, I actually tried to find a picture of it. I could not find a picture actually online for the 17th. But so I just provided the Google overhead. So this is a short par 4. Again, this is a nice little birdie opportunity for everybody coming down the stretch here. A lot of guys that can drive the green if they get the ball, past this bunker. It's a slope that funnels the ball right to left back towards the green here. Most guys, though, just kind of bail out in this front bunker left of the green to get up and down from there. But again, coming down the stretch, if it's kind of close, this is an opportunity to get a birdie. Like I think Denny McCarthy did last year to, I think,
Denny made a birdie on every hole last year.
Yeah, we'll get to that leaderboard in a little bit, but I think Akshay had a big breaker for like 5 feet. He missed it here, and you and I just were bitching at that point and blowing up each other's phone. Like, are we really gonna blow this outright at this
Denny
point?
McCarthy.
Yeah, and then the 18th here, it's a par 5. This actually is very similar to another Greg Norman design, the Jumeirah Golf Estates for the DP World Championship at the Fire Course, or is it the Earth Course? I forget which one. But the 18th hole, it has a creek that bisects the fairway here and then kind of winds its way around the green. On that course, it's very similar to TPC San Antonio. You got the creek that bisects the fairway here, splits it a little bit. And then you got the green, right over here. So this also was the site of, remember what Jordan Spieth did here last year on the 18th? Okay. So I'll walk you through that. So this is where he hit his drive into like a manhole.
Oh,
so I don't even know where. I think like over here.
Yeah, over there. Yeah.
Ends up punching back out to here. Is basically just dead.
Yeah.
But he asked a rule official and says, "Hey, an off camera here. There's, I think, like the hotel or something.
Yeah.
Or a maintenance building." And he said, "Is that out of bounds?" And the rules official said, "No, it's part of the golf course."
Blast. Yeah.
So he purposely hit it onto the roof.
Oh, so stupid.
So he could get a free drop.
Yeah.
And then he hit on the green. He still made bogey anyways, but people were not happy that
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. That was Bush League. But that was this hole here. Obviously, as we'll get to right now, this actually in a couple slides with the this was the site of some drama last year coming down the stretch. But here's the strokes gained by difficulty by category. Like I just mentioned, this is typically one of the tougher golf courses in the PGA Tour as far as tee shots. There's just some awkward tee shots. You got some pretty large, inconveniently placed fairway bunkers. You have some areas where you can incur some penalty strokes as well. And just if you miss it really wide here, if you're in the overseeded rough, it's overseeded ryegrass again this week, 2.5 inches, overseeded greens. If you're just in that, you're okay. But if you're way off the fairway, you can get in some of these like native grasses and native areas, and it's not great. So you really got to kind of keep the ball on the planet here, unlike last week at Houston, where it seemed like, wherever you hit it, you were kind of fine. Yeah. Definitely not really the case this week at TPC San Antonio. Some of the more challenging approach shots as well, I think just because of just how difficult some of these greenside bunkers are where you got to hit over them. There's a lot of undulation to these greens, to some very small shelves as well, some very small targets with some of these greens that you're hitting into. So that makes the approach shots pretty difficult. Around the green, one of the easier golf courses. But again, I just mentioned the bunkers are very difficult to get up and down from. Otherwise, though, you're basically getting up and down from overseeded rough. Or actually, if I go back here to the 13th hole. So most guys here, if you're going to miss, you want to bail out right because this is all just short grass, pretty easy up and down. And that's why, those areas tend to be a little easier to get up and down, and reduces the difficulty of this place. And then putting, kind of depends on the year. In 2022, very easy to putt on. That could have been just like weather conditions. Some other years, very difficult to putt at this golf course. like I mentioned, there are some little, some ridges and a little bit of undulation, some of these greens, some small shells where you got to putt up to, so that can up the difficulty a little bit. So yeah, this is kind of a tough golf course. You definitely can separate yourself here, as we'll show in a little bit, with like really good ball striking. But overall, though, scoring doesn't usually get very out of control at this place unless it's like really soft and like benign conditions. So here's the proximity buckets. There's a higher than average volume of approach shots from under 125 yards, kind of a dead zone between like 125 and 200 here. And then a lot of shots from over 225, specifically almost all of it is over 250 yards. And most of that is going to be your par fives. There is a big advantage to be able to get home in two, because everybody's going to be able to do it. But if you do it very well, there's a huge advantage to be able to score in the par fives if you're really good with your long approach shots. So definitely something to keep in mind this week is, this over 250 yards proximity bucket to definitely gain an edge here, because, it's a tougher golf course, but if you take advantage of the par fives, it definitely can help you score pretty well here. As far as some correlated golf courses, this is a really weird list from Data Golf.
Yeah.
So number one on the list is TBC Summerlin, home of the Shriners. Rest in peace, by the way. That tournament is no more. I don't know if you forgot that, but
oh yeah,
it's no longer going to Las Vegas. They'd rather go to Utah, I guess.
That course was pretty.
TBC Summerlin.
No. Whatever course we played last year.
Black Rock?
Yeah, Utah. It was really pretty.
Yeah. It's a very pretty golf course. I think they wanted Tony Finau to play it, but given all of his troubles, he decided he didn't want to play it.
Nope.
Port Royal's on this golf course. Kapalua is apparently this is just based off their predictive skill set chart of like similar profiles and what our golf courses are similar to it. Like Kapalua, Augusta's on the list. Waialae, TBC Craig Ranch. And I think just looking at this list here, I think it's just, there's not really one particular type of player that kind of dominates here. Like, it's not like all bombers or all accurate guys, or, it's kind of, there's a lot of different types of guys who could do very well here. And it just kind of depends on if you just show up with good ball striking for the week.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that kind of explains why, Kapalua is not really like a good course fit there. Like Summerlin, all types of guys are pretty good there. Waialae, same thing. TBC Craig Ranch, kind of the same thing. So I think that's probably why some of those golf courses kind of pop up as far as like comp courses. But it's a very weird list though, for sure. All right. So last year's leaderboard, we just mentioned it. Akshay Bhatia, 20 under, wins in a playoff over Denny McCarthy.
Something we shouldn't even have to sweat.
Yeah. I've done a lot of talking. Why don't I kick it back to you? Talk about your experience sweating this golf course in this tournament last year.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember, what did Denny shoot? Was it 8, 9 under or something ridiculous? And I came into that Sunday being like, listen, most things aren't easy. This one should be relatively sweat free. Wrong. Denny McCarthy went absolutely fucking nuclear with that putter, man. And it was maddening. He was making it from everywhere. And I could just see Akshay collapsing. And it was a miserable viewing experience. It absolutely was. And then in the playoff, he hurt his fucking shoulder or his neck or some shit. He had his shirt off. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. He hurt himself celebrating a putt. I was like, of course he did. And then Denny thankfully put it in the water. But yeah, it was a miserable. I did not enjoy that day at all until the end. It was one of the least fun watches.
No, I mean, he was up 6 heading into the back 9.
Yes.
And I didn't even think he was blowing it. It just, Denny was hitting literally every single putt. What did he shoot? I think he shot 28 on the back.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And he buried 7 of 8 holes.
Yeah.
And it just felt very helpless at that point.
Yeah, it was nothing we could do. It was just watching Denny McCarthy just drain every single putt. And then it was it was terrible.
Yep.
Terrible.
Yeah. And for me too, I hadn't hit it outright at that point. I'm like, really? This is supposed to be a layup at this point.
Exactly.
So, but he ends up getting the job done.
I still can't believe we had to sweat that. That is legitimately one of the dumber things we've had to sweat.
It probably, for sure. I mean, other than Minwoo Lee just slicing off the planet with a 3-shot lead today. So
yeah, well, yeah.
But I mean, it's
I feel
Minwoo
like that's,
Lee.
I feel like that's normal. Like that's normal. Watching Denny McCarthy go nuclear on the back 9 when you have a 6-stroke lead with 9 holes to go and you somehow still have to have a playoff. That was fucking nightmare.
I know. Yeah,
right.
of all people, by the way, it would be Denny McCarthy. That beat you at this point.
So mad.
But yeah, I mean, but notice though, like they both finished at 20 under.
Yeah.
Rory was third and he was only 11 under. Beat him by 9 strokes that day.
Boat raced them.
Yeah, and like this Leaderboard kind of reminds me of the 2016 Open Championship where you had Phil and Stenson just way ahead of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then just it was kind of like the rest of the pack here. Like where Rory and Henley, like all these guys, like this is typically where
winning score.
TBC San Antonio like top 10s are like should be.
Yeah.
Like, and we'll get to them in a little bit. Like winning scores usually like mid-teens or something. Like, and these guys just both ran at 20 under. I mean, like Akshay hit his irons awesome last year, got up and down from everywhere. Yep. Denny, I mean, he's really short off the box, but irons were on fire around the green, gained 2 strokes per round. Obviously, the putter went nuclear. So,
and him with McCarthy with his fairway woods. I don't know if I was talking to you about this or somebody else. Like, man, he's short off the box, but I swear he has so many eagle opportunities all the time because he's so good with his fairway woods. Like I always feel like he's lining up a putt for eagle on par 5s.
Yeah, that was actually, I think, excuse me.
No, you good.
That was a wow. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Take a dark drink.
Uh-oh. Got a frog in your throat.
For sure. All right, got it. No, that was with me a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Crazy.
So, but I mean, like, just kind of look at the rest of the leaderboard here. As far as like different types of guys who would do well.
Mix,
I mean, like, you got Rory and then Russell Henley, Brendan Todd, Tommy Fleetwood, Hideki. You got your Mac Meisner down here too. So, like, you got a bomber here, short, definitely shorter guys, more accurate guys, just really elite ball strikers. Like Hideki and Fleetwood. So, like, it's kind of like a guy actually in the comments here said, like the text version of Innisbrook. Yeah, I can kind of buy that. Yeah. It's kind of just, you get kind of a little bit of an eclectic mix of different types of contenders here. So, but it's definitely a ball strikers contest. That's definitely a way to separate yourself, as obviously Akshay and Denny did, and even like Rory and Russell Henley, they hit their irons awesome that week. So, the year before that, I mean, Corey Connors has won here twice. He won here in 2023. And I think 25-1. I think when he won, this was like, I think rock bottom of, all right, only chalk is really going to win. Yeah. Because it seemed like every single week, somebody sub 40-1 was winning. It didn't matter if it was Bermuda or like this place or a signature event. It just seemed like no matter what, it was going to be this. And that hasn't been the case for like a solid year at this point. But Corey Connors wins. 15 under. Sam Stevens gave him a little bit of a run. Definitely kind of uninspiring leaderboard, I would say, with some of these names. You got Ches Reavie up here. Andrew Novak before he kind of got more famous. Chris Kirk, Ben Martin, Padraig Harrington also did well that tournament. This is when Ricky was starting to play, pretty well. The course of Hayden Buckley before he, his career basically got derailed. He's on here too. But again, like, the elite iron players in tournament were definitely able to separate yourself. Obviously Corey Connors, great ball striker, hit a lot of fairways. That was really what propelled me. Didn't even really putt all that great, but he just struck the ball so great all tournament. So, that was another prevailing theme at this place. But again, like kind of a mixture of like guys who were hitting it pretty far that week and definitely a lot of shorter hitters. It seemed like off the tee, you just had to not get in trouble, and just be a little more consistent with your tee shots. But like as far as like length or anything, it didn't really seem to matter all that much. And then 2022, this was, so Andy Lack famously hit JJ Spawn this week. Great call at I think 250-1 or something.
250-1 or something silly.
Yeah, I remember that week a little different. Do you remember what was going on with me around this time?
No.
So remember I had to take like a couple shows off around this point. Yeah. So this is when I got walking pneumonia, and the
Oh, yeah.
norovirus.
That's right. Yeah, you were fucked.
Yeah, we're like, we actually had, and you can go back and look for this. Like you basically hosted a show and I was there, but I couldn't really talk.
You couldn't talk. Yeah. I forgot about that.
I sounded horrible.
Yeah, you sounded so bad.
It was awful. Like it sounded like I had like a tracheotomy or something.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting a norovirus, and I couldn't show up for the shows that week.
No.
So but so I barely remember this because I was basically sick all weekend. But yeah, JJ Spawn wins this. Again, like this was kind of an uninspiring leaderboard, but like, yeah, there's a lot of really good, solid ball strikers, populating a lot of this leaderboard, Kuchar and Gary Woodland, Keegan Bradley, Brendan Todd when he was hitting it a little better. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the name of the game this week is there's not really, I feel like it's a particular prototype as far as like length or anything that would do well here, but you got to hit the ball well. You got to be pretty consistent, score well in the par fives. It's kind of the name of the game here. So
like it.
You want to look at the odds board real quick?
Yeah, let's look at the odds board. Let's see what we got.
All right. Can you actually pull that up and share it? Because I think the internet's not really working for me. Like do you even know how to do that?
No clue.
All right, hold on. Let me
we don't need it. We just read it off. We're fine.
All right, why don't you plug again our promotion? Remind me.
While Steve's doing that, like we said, this is going to be the only promotion we run this year. It's Masters month or Masters year. You get 25% off your ISN subscription. It's a great fucking deal. Like I said, Discord. We get the Ballers show on Wednesday night, the premium show, which is always helpful with solid the ownership, and that for DFS is priceless. So yeah, man, come get in on the fun. 25% off Masters month or Masters year. You got it up?
Okay. All right. Let me share this then. Okay. So this is actually the first time I'm looking at this odds board. As someone pointed out in the Discord, no, I have not joined the Crack Addicts yet in actually betting this tournament. So tournament favor, though, Ludwig Aubert, 12-1.
Yeah.
I think you and I have come to an agreement where we are content that we hit him at Torrey Pines, and I think we're good for a little bit. Does that still hold for you?
Yep. 100%. 100%.
Okay.
I'm not betting him at 12-1.
No. Although, I mean, I think a couple of years ago, or maybe it was last year, remember I think he actually snapped his driver on 17 and still drove the green. Remember that?
Oh yeah, I did.
Yep.
That's all right. I don't care. I'm not doing it. Not 12-1.
Okay. All right, so 14-1 Tommy Fleetwood still. Okay, 16-1 Corey Connors.
Listen. I think he's got like 4 top 10s in a row. He's won here twice. I wish the number was a little better. I think I'll find different ways to get him on my card. He's so accurate off the box. He obviously likes it. Yeah.
All right, is there anyone under like 40-1 you might consider betting here?
I'd have to dig into it a little bit, but Spieth and Keegan always.
I think I need better numbers on these guys.
I know. That's just like
I think I need closer to like 35, which I'm not. You're not going to get this week. I think because of what Mimbu was a very popular pick. I think we're going to get pretty bad odds.
Yeah, I think so too. Siwoo with 30. Andy made a good case for him. But I don't know if I can get there. Nobody's really. I mean, just really to me, just like without really digging in too much, like Keegan and Spieth. Keegan and Spieth for
okay. This seems like a course that like Patrick Cantlay would eat up.
He doesn't win golf tournaments.
I know, but I mean, he's been hitting the ball really good lately. He's been really good on the overseed in his career. I mean, if maybe the TPC Summerlin thing is an actually real thing. He's been great there. So I don't think it's a real thing, but it might be. So yeah, he's 18-1 though.
Yeah.
But that could be someone where like he's like T5 heading into Sunday. And then he kind of does like the Patrick Cantlay thing where he just kind of tries water a little bit. Isn't a big threat, but
yeah.
Maybe that'll be enough to get people talking about him in the Masters. Like, oh, Patrick Cantlay showed well last week, bet him up 25-1.
Yep. 100%. 100%.
So I might have some interest in Berger again at 35-1.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, his profile fits. Has he played here?
He probably has. I'd have to go looking.
Yeah.
So
I was just kind of digging around a little bit earlier.
All right, some more guys down the card. Somebody threw out Sam Stevens' name. Apparently, he's a member here. Finished second a couple of years ago. He's 50-1. That seems like I probably need like 80-1 to be honest.
Yeah, he's been playing well. He's been playing well lately, though.
Yep. Bud Cauley playing good golf, 50-1. I might be interested in gross. That. What's that?
So these numbers are gross.
Yeah, these numbers are really bad. That's why you got a price shop here.
Gary, 55.
He's 55. That's not going to be there by tomorrow. That's definitely going to get better.
That'll be 40.
45. Oh, yeah. It's going to be sub 40 for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hey, Kirk Hidiyama played pretty good this week.
I'm good, thanks.
If it's a ball strikers golf course.
I'm good. I don't believe in it.
You're good on that? Okay.
No, I'm good.
Bridgman, still
Bridgman
good on Jacob Bridgman? Yeah, I think
60?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Rico Huey, whatever the fuck his name is. 60. He's played well here. Played well this weekend.
Okay. Kuchar's had some success here, but he's probably watched. How about Justin Rose at 75-1?
I was gonna say, what about Ricky at 70?
Really?
He's been playing a lot better lately. He plays well.
He didn't play good this week. He made the cut, but he finished like 60, 68.
Yeah. I didn't really track him over the weekend.
You're never a Ricky guy.
I know. I was just looking around. Like I said, I had like an hour and a half before, so I was like, oh, he's got good course history here. He's been playing all right. I'm never a Ricky guy.
Here's some number. Cam Young in this field, 90-1.
Yeah, he should be 190-1.
He probably should. You got Victor Perez who showed little signs here or last.
Oh, what about Lee Hodges? We brought him up last week, right? Oh, and Michael actually just typed him in the chat too. So because we weren't sure about his injury, but he played well this weekend.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he came back and he got to a good start. Where did he end up finishing?
Now he was in the top 15.
Was he? Okay, yeah, I can get behind that. Solid ball striker.
I'm good with that. Came in 11th. Okay.
Almost
almost 5 strokes tee to green, 1 around the green, 2 strokes putting, but he's usually a good putter, so that's not like an outlier.
I mean, that's definitely going to be a tip chart guy, probably. I'm going to guess.
I like the number too. The number for what the numbers we're looking at, right? Like 80-1, like that seems fair. Chris Kirk.
Yeah, I want to see tomorrow if I can get a better number on that, but I can get behind Lee Hodges this week.
Yeah. Chris Kirk at 80, he's got a really good course history. What's he been doing?
Yeah, but he's been doing
kind
of garbage. Max Homa, that's another sad one, 110-1.
Yeah.
He'll be on PG Tour Live this week, probably. Sammy Valimaki. Our boy Toasty.
Yeah. I like Valimaki better than Toasty. Just
how about Rio Hisasuni? Played good at Innisbrook. Played all right this week.
So I actually wrote him down because I was close to playing him and betting him on like a top 20 last week.
Okay.
I couldn't get there. So I'm definitely interested in him this week.
Okay. I mean, Joel Damon still can hit the ball pretty good.
Yeah, listen, dude. He fucking. I thought he was going to completely fuck me, and he played really well over the weekend.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we're getting pretty deep now, but yeah, I think those are probably just like first initial looks.
Mm-hmm.
Probably piquing my interest. So
yeah, I like the deeper numbers, and look, I mean, JJ showed that 200-1s and long shots can win here, as long as you fit the profile. So I think there's some good value down the board here because I mean in top of the board, man. Like I'm not betting that. I'm just not. I'm not betting anything on the 20-1. That's for goddamn sure. And like you said, Jordan at 22, Keegan at 22. Like when the hell was the last time Jordan won? Like 22? Come on.
Last time he won, I think was it Harbortown a couple years ago?
Oh, yeah, you're probably right actually. Fuck,
yeah,
it's been a minute, man.
He was where I think I bet like I always did. I bet Patrick Cantlay at Harbortown, and he plugged in the bunker. Yeah, and Spieth did not, and he got to get up and down for winning. So, I mean, I'm going to do my usual strategy. I'm probably going to start my card around like 35-40-1 at these non-signature events. Just go from there.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I don't want to bet anything short on that board, so it'll be a bunch of losers on the card this week. But whatever, We just cashed, so we're good, and we just need to stay hot riding into Augusta, because that'll be a short number that we're gonna have to pick our spots on.
Yes, we will. So,
Yeah.
all right, I'm gonna give you a choice now.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
We could preview Doral right now, Live Miami. I have that already. It's 55 minutes in the show right now, or we could save that till Tuesday. What do you think?
Save it till Tuesday.
You
Save
want to save it all till Tuesday?
Yeah, save it till Tuesday.
Okay.
Because I haven't even had it. Like I said, I haven't even looked at the live odds or anything yet. So I wanna
Okay.
be
All right.
prepared for it. And I'm
Then
familiar
we-
with the Blue Monster though.
Okay. All right. Then we will save the Live Doral talk till Tuesday. I
Yep.
have the PowerPoint already. We'll go over the
Let's go.
course. I'll go over the history. I'll come up with why it's called Doral, which I think you like.
Is it the
I
cigarette
told you-
company?
What's that?
Is it the cigarettes?
No, it's not the cigarette company. You liked the story last year, though, of how it came to be Doral.
Sounds right.
So
Cool.
I'll
I like
remind
it.
you next year. But yes, we will go over Valero Texas Open odds on Tuesday, who we picked. Then we will do a quick Live Miami preview, and then we'll do our quick picks for that too. So
Love it.
that's it.
Yep. All right. Don't forget, go ahead and go use that promo code. Like I said, Masters Month or Masters Year. You get 25% off ISN. We will be back on Tuesday with our betting cards and the Live preview and those betting cards as well. We had a great week last week. Let's make it a better one this one. Let's fucking go.